them are not here to answer for their actions. You are.
We know for certain of 6 human worlds that were destroyed by the replicators, but we also know of at least a dozen Hive ships that were destroyed. Hive ships that would almost certainly have culled within a year. One could make the argument that on balance, more lives were saved than were lost.
On balance? Is that what we are to you? Figures on a ledger? Pieces that can be moved about in a game of strategy, some to be saved while others are sacrificed?
I'm sorry, I certainly didn't mean to
Real
diminish...
people are being killed, Mr. Woolsey. Real villages destroyed. My village, my people. My husband and children murdered before my eyes.
You're from one of the planets destroyed by the replicators.
I barely escaped with my life, but not before I saw everything I hold dear get wiped out by a beam of light from the sky. And I will not rest until someone is made to pay for it.
I guess we can rule out getting her vote.
It's clearly inappropriate for someone that biased to be on the council.
So they stacked the deck against us.
I'm not sure. Demas seems to be a reasonable man. I think he might even be persuaded to vote our way. Kalor's a little harder to read.
Yeah, he seemed pretty hostile to me.
Didn't you say he was from Latira?
Yeah, that's right.
One of our last intelligence reports suggests a growing relationship between Latira and the Janai.
Well, he did try to convince me that they should be the ones leading the fight against the Wraith.
You think the Janai are behind this?
It makes sense. Apart from Atlantis, they're clearly the biggest military power in the coalition. If they played their cards right, they could wind up running the whole thing.
But only with us out of the picture.
So we were right all along, and this whole thing is fixed.
I say we go to plan B, wait for the guards to come in. I beat them up, we take their guns, and we shoot our way out of here.
Do we even know the way out?
Well, we know we're at least 2 levels underground, and there's no more than a dozen or so guards at any one time.
What about on the surface? How many guards are up there? And which way is the gate, and how far?
There's a few things we'll have to figure out along the way.
It's too risky. We could wind up being shot before we even got out of the building.
What other choice do we have? I mean, we know we can't win this thing.
Not fairly, no.
What are you talking about?
I'm saying, now that I know what the game is, I can play it. Kalor, thank you for agreeing to meet me.
Wait outside.
It cost me rather a fine pocket watch that used to belong to my father to get him to bring me here.
You shouldn't have bothered. There's nothing I can do for you.
Well, maybe I'm just feeling generous tonight.
Speak plainly.
You're backing the wrong horse. We know you're connected with the Janai.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We also know they're looking to become the military muscle behind the coalition. We think we'd make a better choice.
You. Atlantis.
That's right.
Well, I didn't realize you had those kinds of ambitions.
We've been content to keep to ourselves up until now. But if it's a choice between getting pushed out of the game and taking a more active part, well, that's no choice at all, is it? Of course, for appearance's sake, we can't be too aggressive. So we'll need someone on the inside to help push our agenda. Someone to whom we'll be very, very grateful.
And how do I know you haven't made this offer to the others?
I think we both know. Demas will only be swayed by reason, and Shiana's going to vote against us no matter what. That leaves you.
Mr. Woolsey, are you ready to face the final charge?
I am.
The people of Atlantis stand accused of conspiring with the Wraith.
Conspiring.
We have reports that Atlantis has negotiated with the Wraith and performed military operations with them. It is said you have formed an alliance with one Wraith in particular.
Assad. That's what we call him. This Wraith was imprisoned with Colonel Shepard by the Janai. The Wraith was allowed to feed on him, but despite this, Colonel Shepard realized that their best chance of escape was to work together.
Which way?
This way.
And you continue to have dealings with this Wraith?
We have occasional contact.
You trust him?
Of course not. But he has proven to be useful at times. He helped us hold off the replicator fleet long enough for Dr. McKay to enact a plan to destroy them.
Heavy damage in interior section.
Transferring power from non-critical systems to hull regeneration.
Our shields can't take much more of this, sir.
Hopefully they won't have to. Now get ready to transfer power from the beam weapons to the...
What the hell? Son of a bitch. He actually did it.
We need to get out of here.
Right, let's go, come on!
Much as I'd love to, we shouldn't stick around and watch this go down.
We should tell the fleet to jump to the rendezvous point immediately. The planet's become unstable.
The fact is, we would never have defeated the replicators without his help. I think it's safe to say they would have continued their policy of attacking human worlds, and by now, everyone in this galaxy would be dead.
Very well. As that was the final charge, we will recess to deliberate.
I'd like to make one final statement, if I may.
Very well.
The Wraith are in disarray, but that won't last forever. Sooner or later, one faction will win out over the others. And when that happens, they will turn their attention to this coalition with a ruthless vengeance, the likes of which you've never seen. If you don't want us there, when that day comes, fighting by your side, then by all means, vote us guilty.
I need no deliberation. I say we get this over with now.
Very well.
I vote guilty on all charges.
I vote not guilty on all charges. It falls to you, Kalor. Yours is the deciding vote.
Well, what's the word?
Not guilty.
Oh, thank God.
We're free to go.
I never doubted you for a second. Nice suit.
Being back in the courtroom made me miss my old uniform.
You're kidding.
Not the job, just the uniform.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, it seemed appropriate.
So, you can tell me how you managed to pull this one off?
Well, I'd say it was a combination of things. My legal skills, my eloquence, the indisputable logic of my arguments, and the bribe I offered Kalor. On top of that, I had to commit Atlantis to a much larger day-to-day participation in the politics of the Pegasus galaxy. And wait to explain that in my report.
Yeah. Well, what's the point of being out here if we're not going to try to make a difference, right?
Let's hope the IOA agrees with you.
Let's worry about that later. For now, congratulations.
Thanks.